Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and it's time for the weekly comic book score. That's right, episode 31. Joining me, as always, we got Stan the Man, the legend, the myth. How you doing, Stan? What'd you bring me to drink today? Oh, Jesus, good Lord, look at this. You brought me a giant tankard of diabetes. Thanks, buddy. And speaking of trash, I mean, not trash, we got Forky, is one of our he's one of the interns on the channel here. How you doing, Forky? Good to see you. Forky always brings a smile to my face. For those of you who wonder why Forky's on the channel, you're like, wait, Stan the Man makes sense. Why Forky? Toy Story 4. That movie it really hit me in the feels. Subjectively, there are things about, I'm not going to go into my personal life about why that movie means the way that it does. But sometimes, you know, a work of art or whatever, just it speaks to you. And Toy Story 4 really spoke to me. Forky in general has a big part to play in that. Woody, the other characters, of course, as well. But this little guy right here, he really means something. He's always going to mean something to me. It's a big personal moment, and it's a really good movie as well. So Forky's part of this channel. You may not care. You might just be like, whatever, it's a freaking plastic fork character. He's not. He's not. So, as always, we talk about our favorite candy bar, the Score Bar. We named our channel out. No, wait a second. Wait. Something's not right here. Where's the burger, Ash? Oh, yeah, that's right. We don't do that. I'm remembering now. Where is my damn burger? Holy shit. God, I knew those Milky Ways were going to have an effect on me. Damn it. Oh, jeez. All right, so here's the deal. I went down to the comic book store. I got up bright and early. Went down to the comic book store. Got there right after they opened. I wanted to make sure that there was no problems getting Batman White Knight. And X-Men, don't forget X-Men came out today. You know, just different things like that. I was like, I got to make sure I get these books. I don't have White Knight on my pull list because I'm an idiot. And I wasn't sure if I was going to get the A covers or the B covers. I was just like, I just want to get there. Just get there. And there were some other books also as well that I wanted to make sure I got. Because my store's weird. Sometimes they don't order. By the way, sold out of X-Men. I'm not kidding. Like within an hour of the store opening, House of X sold out. So yeah, more on that. But so I left the store. So I was at the store. I was getting my stuff. And lo and behold, they only got like half their shipment. So the rest of the shipment was like in transit. They like didn't know where, but they're like, it's out for delivery. And I was like, oh, good Lord. I was like, I don't want to take home half my stuff and do this video and just be blah, blah, blah. So I was like, where is it? Like, and they're like, oh, well, it should be here like by now usually. But, you know, at any time I was like, look, I got to do some errands. I got to do other things. I'm going to do that. I'll come back if that's the case. So they're like, all right, we'll call you. So I went down. Then I ended up going to Costco, spending a long... Dude, if you go to Costco and you just go to browse, holy shit, you can eat up a lot of time there. So I went to Costco, bought some things that I needed, and had some cool snacks, man. I like the little like samples. They do like, try this, try that. Holy shit, they had some good stuff. So I got to browse Costco. Note to self, I forgot they sell alcohol at Costco. Colorado is a blue state, so I'm not used to like seeing alcohol in normal stores, much less Costco. And I'm like, oh shit, you can buy alcohol by the bulk there for cheap. Anyways, that's off topic. So I was doing there. I decided to eat lunch because it's super cheap. Holy shit, you get a big freaking quarter-pound Hebrew National hot dog and a soda for $1.50. So good. I love their hot dogs there. So I was like, $1.50, I'll get a lunch. I was like, you know, I'll get In-N-Out later or whatever. Still hadn't called me. So I was like, damn it. I'm going to go down to this new place, Amazing Collectibles, that I saw not too far from my house. And I decided to go down there and met the guy. So interesting shop. It's a collectible shop, mostly like knives and swords and other things where they have comics in the back, and they've got a pretty decent selection of back issues. They're only back issues. They don't sell new comics. And so I was just browsing through the books because I was like, I have no idea what's here, and some of it wasn't even cataloged or, whatever. It's like, I only went through maybe half his selection. I spent like a good hour, and I just like flipped. I wasn't real careful. I just wanted to see what I could find, and I did find something. More on that later. Turns out the guy who owns the shop, Al, owns one of the comic book shops I used to frequent back in the day. He owned Amazing Comics. He had like 8 locations in San Diego. He quit shop in 2000, which is also coincidentally when I left San Diego. I had already quit comics by then. We had a pretty cool talk. He's an old school guy. He had tons of like old school comics in there, and started like testing the waters. I was like talking a little shit about Marvel comics and the new stuff, and he was kind of like, I didn't want to just come right out and just be, and then maybe he's a fan or whatever, but he wasn't. He got it. We had a cool talk. While I was in there, I guess one of the real big traders from the East Coast, this guy, I can't remember his first name. It's either Mike or Nick Carbonero. I've heard the name before. I've seen interviews like with the guy, Mile High Comics. I guess this guy's like a big time trader. He had a freaking Penske moving truck out front of the store and was doing some big deal with the guy. So I was like, yeah, I've heard of this guy. It was pretty cool. The guy offered to get me he was in there and he's like, man, I'm thirsty. So he's like, hey, Al, why don't we get you a drink? It's like the liquor store across the street. And now I was like, no, I don't drink beer or whatever. He's like, oh, it's cool. Get you a soda or whatever. He's like, no, I can't do it because Al's an older guy. He's like, oh, how about an Avion? I'll get you a nice water or something. He's like, all right, I'll do that. And then I'm sitting here like browsing through the comics. He's like, hey, you customer guy, you want a drink? And I was like, oh shit. Like, I was like, no, but that's very kind of you to offer. Thanks, man. And so he takes off and said, really flamboyant guy. He's wearing like this glittery, shiny, like, blazer. And then he has like this total, like, bright teal scarf, like, wrapped around his neck. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Really oddball look. But seemed like a real nice guy, whatever. Hey, more power to him. Obviously, the guy is a big-time dealer in comics. I've even heard his name because Al was like, you ever heard of this guy? And I was like, oh, yeah, I've heard the name, but I don't know who he is or anything. So that was just coincidental that I happened to check the store out for the first time. Anyways, totally rambling off. So by this time, I'm leaving the store. It's after 2:30, and I'm like, geez, what the hell's going on? So I called the store. I was like, hey, you got some good news for me? They're like, oh, yeah, we do. We got. So I guess they forgot to call me back. Great. So I spent all this time today. No worries. I got nothing real better to do. So I drive down the comic book store, and I can't ever just walk in the store and pick up comics and leave. So I'm start shooting the shit, talking to other customers, and where's blah, 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 comics. Like, you're like, really, Ash? You can't shut up? We didn't know that. So, yeah. So then I leave the comic book store. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, geez, I haven't even got in and out. I'm still kind of like full from that hot dog that I had a couple hours ago. Driving home, and I'm like, by the time I swing through and out, get home, it's gonna be like almost 4:30. Then record the video. I'm just like, man, I'm just gonna do it tomorrow and stuff. And as it is, it's almost 6 o'clock, and I'm still rambling on 8 minutes into the video. So I was like, I'm not gonna get in and out. And I got home, and house is quiet, roommate's gone and stuff. And I'm like, no one's here. I might as well just bust this out, but I don't have the in and out. But I do have the score bar. Why the score bar, Ash? Because Candygate. Have you not heard? There is a thing going on right now, and there's these candy haters out there that just want to push crappy Milky Ways. They don't like anything else. It's Milky Ways. The only candy is Milky Ways. Well, that's not true. Gummy bears are the king of candy. However, us candy aficionados do like other things, and this happens to be one of my favorite candy bars. And without the in and out, I thought it would be funny. Comic book score. See? Yeah. All right. So, let's start it off real quick here with videos I'm watching. Thought this would be something I experiment with every week. Just talk about some of the YouTube videos that I watch on my channel Since I have two channels, I have my personal and I have my Ash on Comics channel. The Ash on Comics channel is generally just comics related stuff. So you can kind of see what I'm watching, and you're like, I don't care what you're watching, Ash, but maybe you do. Maybe you're interested in the similar type of things, and maybe you haven't seen, so maybe this will help you discover new content. So your boy Zach, I liked him better when he was Diversity in Comics. Ever since he switched to Comics Matter, he ironically doesn't seem to matter. He does this thing about SJWs being bored and talking nonsense like they always do, but he lacks the bite that he used to have. He used to like talk shit about Mags and Kurt Busiek, like, and roast them, and now he just doesn't want to offend anyone, so it comes off really just milquetoast. Zach, my boy, I don't know what happened. Bring back Diversity in Comics. Like, it's ironic Zach talks about how comics change and it should go back to the 90s. And it's like, Zach needs to go back to what he was good at, the good Zach. Anyways, so Young Ripa. If you don't know Young Ripa, he's real cool. Super libertarian guy like myself. Also, but is a comic fan, does a lot of comic videos. And I really like watching his stuff because he happens to be black. I don't watch him because he's black, but the fact that he is black, he's able to make commentary on race swapping and race baiting and things like that don't hold the same weight if a white guy's talking about it. So his opinions are, of course, just as valid, but I love the fact that he's just not following, some sort of sheeple mentality and just going along, which people want, oh yeah, blacks hate Comicsgate and blacks want representation and all this stuff. No, they don't. They're actually insulted by tokenism. Anyone, I'll get more of that later. So speaking of tokenism, got Man with Boobs. Thor's in the scene here. Perch is a really good guy, really good guy. And I like his videos. He's recently started doing YouTube videos, and the dude is just like freaking Stephen King is the book. He just pooping these out. I don't mean poop in a bad way. I mean, he's just like, man, boom, 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 boom. He's probably got more videos than me in like a couple months, and I've done this over a year. Professor Geek has kind of fallen off my radar because he's gotten into the whole like black pilling in the industry and all this stuff. He used to do a lot more insightful videos about archetypes and writing and things like that, and now it's just he's just kind of joined the Indiegogo crowd and stuff. And I'm just like, this isn't why I liked you, man. You used to be something different. But anyways, he still's got some good stuff. This video I really like, Dan Didio's solution to DC Comics. I actually shared this on Twitter. I really like that video. Which, by the way, guys, share videos. If you find cool shit, share. It's not like any of us pay for commercials and can get our shit out there. So if you see things, word of mouth is the best stuff. I mean, not just for me, but other things you like. My boy Wes at Thinking Critical did a pretty cool thing. I always watch his videos. Sergeant Bats, I always watch his videos. This is total clickbait. Get woke, grow broke. I mean, it's true, I guess, in a way. But then Bats does this video and kind of defends Sophie Campbell. And he's just, I was like, man, Bats is going to go off because he loves turtles. And then he kind of goes like, well, I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to be positive. And I was like, wow, that's not the Bats I'm used to. But still like the video. Watch it for yourself. There's some interesting things there. What else have I been watching lately? I think that, hey, there's Ash on Comics. I watch my own videos sometimes just to make sure I'm not total trash. See, I'm not trash either, Forky. And you guys are watching going, yeah, you are. So I got my score bar. I got my list. Got my comics. Let's get into it. First, let's taste this. I'm not sure how you guys open candy bars. I kind of like peel them down. If you've never had a score bar, it's just milk chocolate covering a milk toffee, but it's not like the nutty toffee of a Heath. Toffee and milk chocolate might almost be as good as peanut butter and milk chocolate. These are fantastic. They're a little small, but also always refrigerate these. Highly recommend it. All right. You didn't come here for that. Candygate's important, but not as important as comics. Here's my receipt. Oh, good God. trying to keep it at 25 or less, and I'm going over. But that's a sign that the industry is still got good stuff to offer, right? Let's move the diabetes jug. Stan, Forky, you guys gotta get over here. All right. Wait, what am I doing? I haven't even covered the new Marvel #1s. Eric Breen is face palming himself right now. I can see it. All right, look at this. Marvel #1s. House of X. $5.99. So I was at the store today, and I saw it. I saw the variant covers, the $100 variant cover. I was like, oh, good Lord. And, you know, I've been talking about House of X. I did this rant video I posted the other day. You can get all my feelings about that. They didn't have... I got there 15, 20 minutes after the store opened. They were sold out of the A covers already. So I was like, damn, and I was looking at the B covers, because I was still kind of on the fence. I was pretty certain I wasn't going to get this, but when I walked in the store, I was like, maybe I still should. I don't know. And they had just a couple of the B covers left. And I was like, these look like shit. They look terrible. I was like, I don't want these. I was like, whatever. So, and then as I was walking away with my stuff from the new rack, on the counter near where the rack is, there was just one sitting there. Like, not on the shelf, just on this little counter. And I was like, oh, there's one left. I was like, grab it. And I was like, I'll just put this in my pull list. I can think about it. Don't have to make an impulse buy, but it's the only one. And so when I told her, the girl working there, I was like, I got this. Like, I was thinking about putting this, and she's like, interrupting me. She's like, don't put it back. Don't put it back. And I was like, no, I meant back on my pull list. So she's like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, we've sold out of these. It's already in second print. We can't get any more. And I was like, oh shit. Oh, okay. So it's sitting in my pull list, but jeez. Anyways, lingered way too long on that. History of the Marvel Universe #1. You got to get History of the Universe Marvel. It's Mark Waid, right? Our boy Mark Waid is telling you the history of the Marvel Universe. No one knows it like he does. And it's only $4.99. I mean, super cheap just to hear a history of Marvel. Chances are, if you've come into Marvel in the last 20 years, you don't know shit about Marvel because Marvel doesn't know shit either. Valkyrie #1. If you were a big fan of Thor, I'm not talking about that white dude with the yellow hair. I'm talking about the real Thor, Jane Foster. Just kidding. She's now Valkyrie because so stupid. Only in Marvel Comics can a dying woman with cancer replace a god of thunder, then become the new Allfather, then get a demotion to being just a Valkyrie. That's so stupid. But they think it's like great thing. Also, they had to get rid of the black Valkyrie to replace with a white woman of privilege. But I don't know why that's flying. But SJWs don't actually buy comics, so they don't even know. They just like the idea. They're like, our Jane Foster is great. Web of Venom, Funeral Pyre #1, because there's just not enough Venom. So here you can get that. Marvel's Epilogue #1. Now, if you don't know what this is, I didn't either. Jeez, dog. That's my dog. They always need attention. If you don't know about Marvel's Epilogue, it's essentially issue 5 from the epic. One of the best things Marvel's ever done was this miniseries called Marvels back in the 90s, written by Kurt Busiek, painted illustrations by Alex Ross, and it is a fantastic story. If you like Marvel Comics at all, this is for you. It is the Marvel comic for everybody. It tells just the most pinnacle story moments in the Marvel history, like the coming of Galactus and Fantastic Four, the rise of the mutants with X-Men, the introduction of Silver Surfer, the death of Gwen Stacy, all these things, but it's told from the viewpoint of this photojournalist, Phil Sheldon. And because it's told in this fashion, the story comes off larger than life. It's just awesome. So out of nowhere, Marvel decided to do a 5th issue to this book. And it's Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. But it's not number 5, it's number 1. Of course. Fearless number 1. Of course, this is basically Marvel's answers to female Furies. It's the feminism. They should just call this feminism number 1. Or Marvel Feminists number 1. Swordmaster, which is the total racist pandering towards the Asian market. So make sure you get this because the Chinese want nothing to do with it. Secret Warp's Arachnite annual number 1, because Marvel likes to do annuals for books that don't actually exist. And then there's Marvel Tales Hulk number 1 for Jesus fuck $7.99. So altogether, Marvel has 21 total new releases this week. And you can see 9 of these total new releases. Almost half of the books that came out this week are number 1s. Almost half. 9 out of 21 of Marvel Comics are number 1s. Then, when you factor in all the variants, there's 99 comics. Oh my god. There are 70 plus more comics of just variants than there are actually unique. You just can't get any more shitty than that. Number 1's, the total price of all these number 1s will cost you just a mere $46.90. That's more than my entire pull list. All right. Finally, before we get into the comic books, Thordis is back in the news, and SJWs just can't stop making excuses for it. For the past 2 days solid on Twitter, I have got nothing but SJWs bombarding me and just dogpiling and reeing and just spurging out about Thor and about how I'm some sort of bigot and misogynist, whatever, because I don't like Thor as a woman and da-da-da. No, you're right. I'm not any of those things, but I don't like Thor as a woman because Thor is a man. Right? I don't want any woman characters. I don't go out and say, you know what they need to do? You know what we should do? We should turn Storm into a guy. That would be awesome if Storm was a guy. And make her white while you're at it. I don't do that. I like Storm the way she is, and she's fine. I want her to stay the way she is. And I want Thor to stay the way he is. And they've been arguing with, and this whole thing about, Thor, it's the hammer says, whoever possesses the hammer shall, I don't remember, I have been hearing it all the time and I can't quote it exactly. Whoever possesses the hammer shall basically gain the powers of Thor. And so this argument's been going on, and there's a lot of other people, both sides of the argument, and trying to point out, it's look, everyone else that's ever picked up the hammer, none of them became Thor. Only Jane Foster, who, by the way, was a pacifist and a nurse. I guess she became a doctor eventually. I don't know. But she becomes Thor. She's the only one. Captain America's picked up the hammer, didn't become Thor. Silver Surfer's picked up the hammer, didn't become Thor. Superman, even in a crossover, picked up the hammer, didn't become Thor. Well, Ash, what about Eric Masterson? Okay, Eric Masterson, during this timeline that they were writing, picked up the hammer and merged with Thor. The two beings merged together. So, what do you call him? You could have called him just Eric Masterson, and that would have probably been correct. Or you can call him Thor, and that's also correct, because they're both people. Well, Ash, what about Donald Blake? When Donald Blake picked up, he became Thor. Yes, because Donald Blake was Thor. Donald Blake was just like the Clark Kent to Superman. He was actually Thor as cast off into as a human. No one has ever been Thor. Not even Jane Foster, which there's a what if issue where she picks up the hammer and gains the powers of Thor, just like it says, and she becomes Thordis. She never becomes Thor. She never went around punching dudes for girl power. But just all of it it's trash, and these guys want to defend it. Why do they want to defend it? Because Marvel just announced their movie with Natalie Portman, and she picked up the hammer. She's going to be the new Thor. And in true you can't fucking make this shit up fashion, Natalie Portman could not hold the hammer up. She literally had to have it propped up, a person on, like, kneeling down on the stage holding her arm up because the prop was too heavy. Oh my God. This is what happens when you try to say that women are the same as men. They are not. 90-pound Natalie Portman is not equivalent to the 400 pounds of pure muscle that Thor would be. It's not the same. And now, obviously, no one can pick up Thor's hammer because it's magical and it has more to do with just the weight. But she couldn't even pick up the plastic prop that probably weighed a couple pounds. Oh, just terrible. It's so terrible. Anyways, hashtag Candygate. Remember, Milky Way is for milk toasts. Hashtag read Hawkman. If you like good comics, read Hawkman. And always remember, what would Stan do? This is a new hashtag that I've been kind of pushing around because Comicsgate is dead. The SJWs on the Indiegogo side have hijacked it. They're out there insulting everyone, and they're out there just trying to, I guess, push. They're doing the same exact thing with the comics. It's just terrible. And I was like, I can't use the Comicsgate thing anymore because now you're lumped. I'm still a huge supporter of the original idea of Comicsgate, but no one remembers what that is anymore. It's all been obscured by these a-holes. So I came up with a hashtag that I thought, how can we get something that won't be skewed, that actually has a foundation and a history that no one can argue, and that's this man right here, Stan the Man. What would he do? Well, what he would do, Ash, is probably get on with this damn show and actually show the pulls. All right, you're right. Here's a receipt. Let's get on with it. First, the indies. We got Ascender. And this was a washed out cover. I hate this cover. Like, seriously? Can we get some color in here? Some black inking or something? It just, woo, is it orange? It's like, and then Marvel now. Only one indie this week. Guardians of the Galaxy. I got to credit my boy Comic Stacks, the real Comic Stacks. He's got a YouTube channel as well. It's the real Comic Stacks. And he's got me into Donny Cates. That's not true. He's got me into the other stuff of Donny Cates that I wasn't sure was going to be worth my time. I knew Venom was good, but I was like, he's writing all this other shit. But man, did I read Thanos. The Thanos Wins just recently. I read that, and then the Cosmic Ghost Rider, and I was like, holy fuck, dude, Donny Cates is the real deal. And he liked Guardians, and I watched his reviews of Guardians. I was like, oh, I'm sold. Now, speaking of Marvels, we were talking about this before. Here's the issue. I had to buy it. Marvels is one of the greatest comic things I've ever read as a miniseries. I absolutely love Marvels. This is 20 years later. Kurt Busiek is a raging SJW. He's out there talking shit on Twitter, just making enemies of the fan base. I don't know if this will be the same book, but I'm a completionist. I have to have all the Marvels, and so Marvel was making something that I couldn't miss. And there was only one cover to get. I'm gonna get the Alex Ross original cover. And they didn't do all this nonsense back when Marvels came out with all these variant covers. So yeah, it didn't make sense. On to DC, we got Flash 75. Now, I've been getting the variant covers to DC, if you've been paying attention. This was a bigger size issue because it's 75. Unlike Marvel, which doubles the cost for number 25, DC just did a double-sized book for $1 more. But the variants now at DC, here I am giving credit to DC, and now I gotta backhand them. They have this little cardboard covers that they had been doing on other books before, but now they're charging you $1 extra. So I get a picture of a dude's face for $1 more, so it's $5.99, or I can just get the actual trade dress and the art that I should have been getting all along, and pay only the $4.99 which is still a lot, but like I said, it's issue 75. It's the finale of year 1, and this has been a really good story. I've been doing reviews on them, so if you're curious, check those out. And speaking of good stories, Tomasi's been doing a really good job on Detective. I've been very much enjoying it. These are not out of this world comics where you're just like, everyone go make sure you pick it up. But if you like Batman, these are just, I'm happy to read them comics. Like, they're good. They're consistently just solid, fun comics the way it should be. Ongoing comics cannot hit home runs every time, right? I think you got to remember this. When you buy ongoing comics, every once in a while you hope you get something really awesome, and then the rest of the time, just be good enough to keep your interest and collecting the story. I've been very happy with Detective Comics. I hate the big Batman up there, but I guess that's how they have to do to sell, because people are idiots. They don't see the Batman, they won't buy it. Also, Return of Joker. There's way too much Joker. All right. Speaking of, here's another book that I used to buy the B covers of always, but I'm not. DC lost it. Justice League Dark. It's really good. The whole Justice League series, Justice League Dark, and Justice League Odyssey, perfect. It's not perfect, but it's really good series. It's what I wish X-Men was. I'm a huge X-Men fan. I want X-Men. X-Men used to be the best comic on the stands. It's the comic that got me into comics. I love the team dynamic. I love this. Scott Snyder on regular Justice League and James Tynion, who helps out every once in a while, plus does Justice League Dark, are really setting a great tone. It reminds me back in the day when Jim Lee and Chris Claremont were tag teaming on, well, Chris Claremont kind of retired, so it was Jim Lee and his buddy Will Spartacio on Uncanny. Was just solid, good, fun stuff every month. Speaking of solid, good stuff every month, our boy Robert Venditti, #Reed Hawkman, does another series that's not getting a lot of attention right now, Freedom Fighters. It started off slow, but holy shit, number 6 was fantastic. Instantly jumped up into the top 5 of the books that I'm collecting. It takes a little while to build up, but after issue 6, I was like, boom. I knew I was right to stick with this book. It's cool. It's a fun book. This is another one of those classic, this is what comics used to be and what comics can be again. And people need to know. Share the word on good comics. Next we got Martian Manhunter. Here's a book that's really flying under the radar. I like what Steve Orlando's doing. This art is right out of Pink Floyd The Wall. Jesus, that's bizarro. And it's going to be really a deal breaker for some people, like Silver Surfer Black. Some people just can't handle it. And I understand what you're saying. If you say, Ash, I don't like the art, it's terrible, I'm not going to disagree with you. Like, okay. But I am going to tell you that there's a really solid story here. And as someone who didn't really know much about Martian Manhunter, Orlando's doing a really good job building a character that you can care about. With Jeff Johns, I mean, going all the way back to Mars before the extinction event that caused all the Martians to die, him be the last one. He covers that. Jeff Johns. He wasn't a good person. He was a corrupt cop. He's a bad cop on Mars, essentially the equivalent of a cop. And all this shit happens. It turns out he's kind of linked to the destruction of Mars. Like, holy shit. But when he comes to Earth, he loses everything. I mean, he lost his wife, his family, his whole planet, his race, like everything. Obviously, that's enough to potentially be a paradigm shift, and he changes who he is, and he takes the identity of this Earth detective, Jeff Johns. Is it Jeff Johns? John Johns. I don't know why I'm saying Jeff Johns. Oh man, I got the DC. John Johns. I can see Bats and Breen and other people listening up to this point just slapping their head going, wow, this is Ash just doesn't know shit. Sorry, man. I was totally Freudian slipping there the whole time. But John, he takes the identity of John's, this Earthling, and gets to know who this guy was. He's dead, but he pretends to still be him alive. No one knows that he was dead. And so he learns that this cop did things good, and he's trying to now live for this guy's memory. And he does some really cool stuff in this book. And then, of course, there's the whole mystery of what's going on. It's good. If you like detective comics in the sense of not the actual detective comics, but if you like people that tell me I want Batman to be more of a detective, this is that type of thing. It's a good mystery. It won't fit. All right. Finally, last but not certainly least, the thing we've been waiting for, Batman Curse of the White Knight. I have not been able... Well, I've been able to. I never had a real excuse to talk about the original White Knight series. I got back into comics while that series was going on. I didn't start my channel till the series was already completed, and I just was doing other stuff, and I just didn't get to talk about it. But let me just tell you something. This book right here, not this one, the original series that this is a sequel of, is better than Hawkman. It's the best thing that I've read in comics since coming back into comics. Now, that could change with Last Night on Earth, which is holy shitballs freaking amazing, but there's only been one issue, and I don't want to be hyperbolic. This is the original series, a complete run of 8 issues, and it is astoundingly good. The art is phenomenal. Sean Gordon Murphy is a fantastic artist, and no one draws cars like he does. The writing is unbelievably good for a person who's only ever written, I think, 1 or 2 other books before in his life. He's usually just the artist. And for a guy who didn't really know Batman very well. His knowledge of Batman is just basically his buddies like Scott Snyder and other industry guys going, hey, here's one of the, here, read Batman Year One. Here, read Hush or whatever. They read the best of the best story. He never got to read just the trash Batman through he's not like a Sergeant Bats who's read Batman for 20 years, right? He's just read the pinnacle of Batman books. So conversely, in his world, we would call the Murphyverse, things don't match quite with continuity. Things are a little bit different. But let me just tell you something. That's not a knock to this book, because Sean Gordon Murphy has taste. He's not just a good artist. He's not just a good writer, but he has taste. So unlike other writers who maybe are trying to write Batman to fit with whatever DC's been doing forever, Sean is kind of, in a way, screwing up. But he's screwing up the way he thinks Batman should be. His mistakes are actually better for Batman. He's doing things that make the characters better. He adds a whole new dimension to Joker in the original run. He fixes the Harley Quinn problem of old school Harley Quinn versus new school Harley Quinn. Some people like one, hate the other. You read these books, it fixes it. If the Murphy version was right, it fixes it. His version of Duke Thomas is awesome. He's the way I wish Luke Cage was. The Duke Thomas, the Signal in the DC books is lame. But Duke Thomas in White Knight is awesome. Everyone in this book... God, I'm just stuttering over my own words here. Nightwing in these books. He's like Batman's right hand. He kicks ass. Barbara Gordon is the best Batgirl I've ever fucking read in a White Knight book. Everything Murphy does in these books kicks ass, even when it's wrong, because it's better. Because Murphy's version is oh, that's the way it should be. And it's got great art. And it's got a cool story. And you're just I cannot be more excited about this. I need to be hyperbolic about... this could fail. I don't know. Maybe he's a one-shot pony, one-trick pony, whatever. I don't know about this book. But the original one, it's the most exciting thing I've read since I got into Frank Miller back into 25 years ago. It was just... I love this so much. So this is a huge deal for me. It should be a huge deal for you. This should be the #1 book. If this is not the #1 book, the industry is doomed. If it's fucking X-Men or something else, there's no reason why a Batman book that's also the best thing in comics in the last 20 years, there's no reason why that shouldn't be. If that can't be #1, then we just don't deserve comics. Okay, enough. Now, this is something for Sergeant Bats a little bit, but it's also for me. Just hit the mic. I don't know if that made any noise. I was at the comic book shop and looking through back issues, and I saw something I'd never seen before. And immediately drew my eye because of the character. It's one of my favorite comic characters ever, written by what Sergeant Bats would probably say is one of the best writers ever. And I was like, well, Sergeant Bats says this guy never writes anything bad. Let's put that to the test, because I desperately want to read a great story of one of my favorite characters written by someone who never writes anything bad. Desperately want to. And it's... Let's see if it'll fit up there. It won't, of course. It's Doom, the Emperor Returns. Marvel Comics. And our boy, Chuck Dixon, is writing Dr. Doom. And I saw this and I was like, squee! Like a schoolgirl. I don't know how that came out. You're like, oh God, that's so cringe. Yeah, that was cringe. But that's how I felt when I saw this. Look. So Ash, why don't you just fan out your books? All right, you're right. So, Doom, the Emperor Returns. So good. So, I don't even know if it's good. I'm like, in my mind, I'm dreaming about how good this can actually end up being. Then, we got issue 2. And then, issue 3. Fantastic. Dr. Doom is one of the best characters in comics. I'm going to put this to the test. Sergeant Bats, you're on the clock here. This better be good. I bought these because of you. We'll see. I'm going to read them. Maybe I'll do a thing on the channel about them. You tell me if you guys have read this, what you thought. Don't spoil it. Please don't spoil anything for me. But if you just like thought it was good, or if it was meh, or if it sucked, it's not going to suck, I don't think. But that's it. That's my comics for the week. Still got a score bar to finish. At least it's not a cold burger. So, yeah. Stan and Forky, thank you for watching the video. I thank you as well. And we're going to see you next time. Don't forget the shop at 7-Eleven, because I'm getting a, kickback here. No, I'm not. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.